Hello, lovely. I am super excited about what I'm about to talk to you about today. Just give the social media channels a chance to catch up and make sure we're all running nicely. So yes, hello. I'm Susie Butcher. If you haven't met me before, I'm super excited to be talking to you now about something I've been working on for many months, actually, much longer than I should have been. But things get in the way, and now I can finally announce what I've been working on. So I've been coming across more and more women in their 40s and 50s, even into their 60s, who desperately need to make a change from the work that they are currently doing. Now, don't forget, we're going to keep working until we're potentially into our, nearly 70, unless you've got some other income there. And if you're 40 or 50, who says that you have to keep doing the job that you're doing? The world is changing very quickly, and so are the jobs that are out there. But also, it's quite possible that you are in a workplace that's quite toxic. We know there's plenty out there. Maybe you're just bored. Maybe you fell into the job that you were doing, and you've just sort of done it ever since then, and never really had a chance to decide if this is really the thing that you'd like to be doing. So I come across a lot of women who are at this point where they know they need to make a change, but they don't know where to start. They really don't know what it is that they want to do. They don't know whether their skills are transferable. They don't even know if they're going to find anything that they like more than what they're currently doing. So usually the answer to that is often to do a course, to sign up to some coaching, to try and dig down and find out what really lights you up. But some people are not at that point, and this is where if that's the case, if that's you, that's who I'm speaking to today. You're not at the point where you actually want to invest too much money, too much into this. You're not really sure what the first steps are. So what I've put together now is a free challenge. We're calling it a free first steps to freedom challenge is what I'm calling it. And it's those first steps to help you figure out what really lights you up and what kind of a plan that you might be able to make if you decide that this is something that you want to pursue. Because doing this challenge will do a couple of things. One, it will really make you confront how you're feeling. So I'm not saying it's going to be super easy, but it might make you decide, actually, no, you're perfectly happy with what you're doing. And that's fine as well, because then, we just want to see that you're happy. But it's very difficult to do this without some kind of help. When I was unsure about my own job and whether I wanted to be there, I needed to go, and I did seek some help from some people, and it did convince me that I wanted to leave. But what happened is I ended up leaving without a plan at all, and that worked out okay. It's taken a few years. It's been very squiggly, and it did work out. But in that time since then, what I did is I spent so much time figuring out the kind of what made me tick and what kind of exercises would help me to learn more about myself and what was really important to me. And I've taken all those things that I've learned from podcasts, from books, from courses, and I've put all those things together in a coaching program that I run called Missions Accepted. But as I said, I appreciate that not everybody's at the point where they're ready to invest in something like that. It just might not be for them right now. So the challenge to myself was, can I come up with something that's much shorter that will at least set people on that path? And so I've taken the bits from my program that I feel will not overwhelm you, but that will give you some real aha moments and help you make a decision, really, whether this is something that you want to pursue a little bit more or not. It's completely free, apart from your time. Obviously, I do need some of your time and some of your energy for self-reflection. And so the way that it will work is that it's for 5 days. And I've called it First Steps to Freedom because freedom is different for everybody. And I would just like you to have the opportunity to explore what that means for you. And we will, it'll be 5 days, and it'll be a task that I set in the mornings that shouldn't take you more than half an hour. Some will be much quicker than that. And then you put your responses to that task in the Facebook group that will be in our private Facebook group that we're working in. I will leave some comments, and then later in the day there'll be an opportunity to put some questions into the group, because no doubt questions will come up around all of this. And then in the evenings, we meet for a little soiree from 7:30, be about half an hour, might go to an hour, depending on how many questions people have. So the soiree will be where I will go through the questions that you've asked, and we can talk about those and discuss anything else that comes up. And so it's 5 days. Treat it like a little retreat. You know, one of the challenges that so many women have is setting aside time for themselves. And I don't know if that's something that resonates with you or not. So what this week will do will demand that you do carve out a little bit of time just for you. That in itself is an achievement for a lot of people. So 7:30, I'm hoping by that time, all the dinner's finished with, and, people are off doing their evening things, and that you'll have that half an hour, 45 minutes, maybe up to an hour, for us to talk through what's come up for you and see what the next steps might be. So that's how it will work. It starts on the 20th of January. So you've got a couple of weeks to organise your diary if you need to make sure that things are free. The evening soirees are recorded into the Facebook group, so you are able to watch them afterwards if you can't come live, but it is great if you can come live, because you can pop in your own questions as things come up. Yes, so what will this do for you? Why would you want to do this? One, and you're going to think this sounds a bit woo-woo maybe, but I'm telling you this, I see this over and over again. One, it lets the universe know that you are paying attention to yourself for a little while. You may very well have spent the last 20, 30 years really working your way around other people, putting them first, prioritizing them, whether it's your boss, your partner, your children, the dog. All of those things can come first, right? It's really difficult to carve out time for yourself. But when you start doing so, something happens. The universe listens, and suddenly different things start being offered to you. Once the universe is like, oh, okay, we're paying attention to you now. Let me see, what can I come up with? I know it sounds a bit woo-woo, but I'm telling you, I see it time and time again. So couldn't help but mention that. The other thing is, you will be one of several women in the same situation. And the power of the community with something like this is just so enormous. I can talk to you, you could have one-to-one coaching with me, and all of that's great. But what really seems to make a difference for people is knowing that they're not alone in these feelings that they're having. And these are feelings you can't really talk about with people at work, because you often don't want to demonstrate to people at work that you're not happy there, that you're actually looking for something else. So to have a group of other women who are going through the same thing, that you can feel hopefully confident enough to let them know how you're feeling, that's another thing that comes out of this. I would be very surprised if you came on this program, this challenge for a week, that you didn't make a few friendships in there that will help you for the next stages of the journey. And it's always great to have someone else there as well. So that's what it is. Obviously, there's going to be a lot more information on the, you can go through to the registration page. It costs you nothing other than your time and your focus and your energy. I would love you to see this as a bit of a January retreat, get some things into perspective, figure out, we will be doing some exercises that will already be bringing up things for you as to what's important to you. And you will have some aha moments through that process. And, this is the stuff that people pay me for. So I'm delighted to be able to share this with you for no cost, because I cannot tell you how frustrating it is for me to see women working in roles and jobs where they don't feel appreciated, where they don't feel there's any purpose in it for them. They want something that is a little bit more purposeful, that is going to have a bit more impact on the world. And they feel like, but how can I change now? This is what I've been doing for so long. Who would hire me? What would I do? And I'm here to tell you that I've seen this work for many other women, not just women, but I mainly work with women. And I have seen, I'm an example of it. I was a journalist for 20 years. much that I loved about it, but it got to the point where it wasn't for me anymore. But I did not know how I could get out of that. It was like, what are my transferable skills? I thought maybe I could go into PR or something, but then would that have given me the joy that I was looking for? For me, probably not at that stage. I really wanted to do something where I had a bit more control, a bit more ownership over my time and who I worked with. And, it's been an amazing journey, all of which we can talk about in the soirees, in the evening soirees, because I'll be sharing a lot of my stories in that time and those of other clients I've worked with who have done it, to give you some inspiration that it's completely possible. You are in the age of becoming, right? So there's a wonderful person called Aviva Wittenberg Cox, and she talks about the fact that the world, that our lives, if we look at our lives as 100 years, because why not? Might as well aim for it. It's in 4 quarters. And the first quarter is about growth, pretty naturally. The second quarter is around, it's kind of around achieving things, trying to blossom in our careers, all that kind of thing. And the third quarter, which is from 50 to 75, she calls the years of becoming. And I just love that, because at 50 or roundabouts, many of us start wondering what it is that we've been doing for the last 20 years and whether we want to do it for another 20 years. And this is where we start the process of becoming the person that we've always been in there waiting to come out, which harder to do when there's a lot of demands on your time and you're just trying to establish yourself and all of those things. So this is all about the becoming years. And I would love you to think about what your unique contribution is to the world that maybe you're not getting the chance to do now. So that's what it's all about. I'll be posting quite a bit about it over the next couple of weeks, as you can imagine, because I want as many of you to join me on this as possible. There's a registration link. Please, if you're interested, click on it soon, because it's I'm not quite sure how many people I'm going to take in, because it's the first time I've run it and I want to make sure it runs smoothly. So there might be a point where I think, that's about as much as we can handle for now. So I do suggest you click on it as soon as possible if this interests you. It's just putting in your name and your email, and we take it from there, really. And it's exciting times ahead. It's January, right? It's January. It's a time for a new slate. It's when we naturally think about what might be the direction that we want to go in, and whether you want to continue doing what you're doing now for the next 1, 5, 10, 15 years. But if you're open to the idea that maybe there's something out there for you that you just don't know what that is yet. There was for me, there was for many people that I work with, but you've got to take a first step to go down that journey. And I know it's scary, because, we tell ourselves, we've got a decent job, got money coming in. Do we really want to jeopardize all of that? And I don't want you to jeopardize all of that without knowing more about what the direction might be that you're heading in. So that's it for me for now. Click on the link, get registered, and we will kick things off the Sunday before the 20th. We'll have a little live session before that in the evening for those who are around. But otherwise, it starts properly in earnest on the 20th of January to set you up for the year ahead.